unemployment. This is a big one.
Oh, this is just huge. All right, here's the deal. Normally, and unemployment is state administered, but so normally the states give you somewhere between 30 and 40% of what your wages were. Well, the government wants you to get up to 100% of your wages. So what the government is doing is they're telling the states, we will add an extra $600 a week now for payments for up to 4 months for people who can't work or get laid off or have reduced hours as a result of the coronavirus situation. And that applies if you're an employee, or it applies if you're self-employed. There's a lot of doctors I was just reading about that got laid off, believe it or not, because they're canceling all surgeries and all operations unless it's either essential. But if it's elective surgeries, they don't do anything. They won't be doing that in the hospitals in order to save room for coronavirus patients. Those doctors will be able to get unemployment compensation. And what's interesting is this covers you up to 4 months. So essentially, you can be unemployed and, depending on the state, get somewhere between $3,000 and $4,000, $4,200 a month, which is not a bad deal. Okay, so they will cover you up to 100% of your wages with a very large amount of money. I would tend to think it's going to come pretty close for most of you on 100% of your wages on this, if you suffered from a coronavirus problem because you're unemployed or less hours, or you've seen some kind of situation like that. Close your restaurant, for example.
As long as kind of the requirements and the details are, as long as you can't telecommute, like if you can't telecommute, like if you have a job and you just can't telecommute or it won't work, then you can qualify for this. Also, you know, it's going to be regular unemployment. It's managed by the state. Is going to be doing the funds and the applications and all that stuff. And you will also have to, it's regular unemployment. So you got to prove that you're looking and trying to make work and things like that. They'll still be subject to those things. But it was kind of interesting in the wording. They said self-employed people that as long as they're looking for part-time work, it kind of specified part-time, which is kind of interesting. It's but it's state managed, so you're going to have
to. It's all state managed. That's correct.
So, yeah, you want to work through that, sure. But if you definitely don't have anything going on and you're an independent contractor, or a gig worker, or Uber driver, whatever you are, this is definitely an option if you got nothing going on because of
that's exactly right.
So, and if you've been forced to shelter in place and can't work, it also applies to that.
I mean, you think about this, up to $5,000 sick leave or $2,000 family leave, plus unemployment compensation, plus some of the other stuff we'll be covering. Believe me, you're not going to be suffering too much. I promise you, financially. You may not like staying at home like we're all doing, but you're not going to be suffering.
And you might have some paperwork to do.
That's right.
And some proof and stuff.
And eventually we'll even cover what you need to do for a home office. That's going to be another one of our webinars that you want to pay attention to.
Yeah. So anyway, unemployment, you go to your regular state unemployment agency to get that, or whoever manages that in your state, to figure that piece out. But it is open to self-employed people, and that's pretty amazing. Never really before to my knowledge, has that been offered. So,
I'll tell you something. This is the first tax bill I've ever seen that's very middle class oriented. And usually they benefit just the very poor or the very rich. Very rarely do I see things for the middle class, but this one's really targeted middle class. There are some things for the rich. I don't feel sorry for them, like NOL carryovers and carrybacks and things like that. But for the most part, this is very middle class oriented.